let's start off with where we are with Bitcoin and ETH right now. So we've got some pumpage right after the news of the 50-point rate cut, which traditionally is a bearish thing. We'll talk about why the prices may be where they are right now. But we have Bitcoin back up over 60K. It's kind of been hovering around that area here for a few days now. ETH is still terrible against it. It's at 2350 roughly, but it did move up a little bit on this move, despite Vitalik singing on whatever weird stage he was on the other day I saw. So that's where they are. We'll get the pulse chain, of course, and the pumpage we're seeing there in just a moment. So that is definitely nice looking. But in terms of this, now, again, we know because of the rate cuts, we're having some weird volatility today. We knew that this would be a volatile day with the numbers and everything. But with you, there's it's hard to really talk about this and where the prices are right now without mentioning the FOMC stuff. So we'll kind of weave that in here as well. Bitcoin was pretty strong last week. And, I already kind of had this in my head about, well, September, I think it's green still on the monthly right now. So, will September actually be a green good month because everybody in their, step grandma is expecting it to be a red month, or just because things traditionally do go opposite of the way that the masses think. But we're still looking good right now. I don't know how we're going to look in the short term with this rate cut, though. I don't know if we're going to start seeing some of the markets tanking. I did see the S&P 500 finish slightly down today. Well, crypto has been pumping off the move. So what do you think here, Ewok, with what we're seeing between ETH and Bitcoin? ETH, of course, I think its ratio right now is worse than it's been since we've talked about it this entire year. I think it's at 0.38 or something right now. So real bad. But yeah, what do you make of where we're at right now?
Yeah. No, I just pulled up the monthly chart. We are still green. But yeah, so I think the reason why we're getting a little bit of pump for Bitcoin is because people had priced in the 25 points. And I don't think, why is this not getting any bigger? Anyway.
Desk screener is weird. I don't know.
Yeah, it's just being a little strange. I went from the monthly back to the daily, and it got a little wacky on me here. So, yeah, I don't know what happened. Either way, yeah, I think it was priced in at 25 points, and that's why I saw a little bit of green movement because initially people do take it in a bullish sentiment because money becomes a little bit easier to borrow. So there's more money out there. People have a little bit more to put into some riskier assets with a little bit less interest. However, as we've talked before, long term, this could definitely pull the markets down as it kind of evens itself out. Historically, it does that. Again, we'll get into that later. The S&P 500 did end up down, but only on 0.29%. So,
barely.
It's barely down, so there was a little bit of blowback from that. But yeah, as you said here, let's pull up the ratio and see where we're at in ETH. Oops. No. We want the ETH in Bitcoin. Yeah, we're touching this downtrend level yet. Again, it keeps bouncing off of that. But yeah, we're at just under 0.04 at 0.0387. So yeah, more downtrend. It could be because of Vitalik singing and dancing on stage and making a fool of himself. The more of those I see, the more people that come out. It's weird, you see those comments that ETH is done for. It's just strange. I don't know why or if they've heard anything other than the fact that they have been selling a little bit. And it's weird because they usually make the top. When they sell, they make the top. This is in a weird situation for them to be selling. So just kind of odd all around. Another thing that I was looking into was the where is it at? I think I pulled up one of the charts of it. It was a visualization of the volume of the Bitcoin ETFs and how there's about 2.5 on average, 2.5 billion dollars in volume in a day for these things. Now, I don't know how much of that is buys. I don't know how much is sells. But to see this Bitcoin price doing this and just kind of hovering with that much volume, I've heard a couple other people talking about it as well. And, Coinbase is the custodian for the ETF for the big ones anyway. And there's a lot of speculation that they're possibly selling these as derivatives, IOUs, whatever it may be. They're not selling actual Bitcoin. There's no possible way that they are because of the price. And it makes a lot of sense, right? You got $2.5 billion of volume coming in almost daily. And it's just sitting here like this. It's just something's not adding up. So, just something to keep in mind for people that do use Coinbase to buy and sell their cryptos. I definitely wouldn't hold it on there any longer than you have to, because if they are selling derivatives, and if there is, especially right now in the cycle, when we do expect things to go all next year in an upward trajectory, if there's a bank run and they don't have it, it's going to create some nasty blowback. And I just hope it's not true, but it's hard to not think so. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. And I think, talking about like ETH in relation to Bitcoin as well, like, and we're going to get into the FOMC thing, but I think with all these things kind of coalescing right now, we may see Bitcoin start to downtrend a little bit in the short term. Maybe it does have, I don't know about a red September, but maybe just like you're seeing right now, stay stagnant and not really go anywhere. And I think we might see ETH start to catch up with it finally here, because, the timing is just right. It's been so long now. ETH bled so badly in August. I mean, like everything did, but ETH, that's when it really got the nail in the coffin kind of in relation to BTC. I mean, that August 4th or 5th weekend or whatever, when everything just tanked. So yeah. I think that we're going to, even if ETH kind of just stays where it is and maybe Bitcoin dips, so just by proxy, ETH starts to gain on it a little bit, I think that is what we're going to see start happening. And of course, with these rate cuts, I mean, one thing that is traditionally a byproduct of it, of course, like you said, is people go and want to spend money again. You are going to see people get into like a risk on environment and stuff like that. And traditionally, that's where you would see ETH, obviously like different, more aggressive areas of the stock market, but also ETH, crypto in general, money start to flow back in there and the money printer come back on here, of course. So I think that's something we could see here in the short term. So yeah. And I hope.
Yeah, I agree. I think ETH will definitely, have a pullback here. Especially, like I said, that was kind of where I was headed with that. And I guess I didn't finish my thought. But, Bitcoin not doing a whole lot with the amount of volume that's coming in. I do think we start to see Ethereum definitely catch up here a little bit. So that's where I was headed with that thought anyway.
Yeah. Well, I stole your thunder a little bit there. So
all right, you can have it.